young adults have children, and they need something for their kids to do. So those are some of the things. We need some activities, like some venues. I know downtown they have the music venue that they started there. We do have the fair, however, the fair doesn't offer anything specifically to this community. So we need to have something within our own Jefferson Township that would help promote younger people coming into our community.
Right. I do agree with that. Before we moved into Jefferson Township, we would always come here for Jefferson Township Day. It was a huge deal to everybody. So now that we live here, I think we're young adults, but we do have an 8-year-old, and there's not a lot of children her age in our neighborhood. It's mostly an older community. So to see some younger people move in would be something to see for Jefferson Township. So I do agree with you all on that. And that's the end of our pre-submitted questions. I'm going to read some questions that the audience has written down for us. And the first one is, we'll go to Mr. McLaughlin. What are the most important challenges facing Jefferson Township, and how do you propose to address them?
Okay, so, the person's problem is different, your problem is different than my problem. Sitting up here and being a trustee, one of my main problems and one of my main fights is transparency. In that, I believe that we need to listen to you and be able to understand what you want from us. You need to be able to speak to us in the meetings. You need to be able to communicate with us. You call the office, we need to be answering the phone. And I think that's very, very important. And so then also, if we have the meetings that the information's out on the table, the resolutions are out on the table. And I've been to other township meetings when people have questions, they speak up. This meeting is for you. These township meetings are with residents, and for the residents to get done what they want to see happen in this township. We need to be able to listen to you and be transparent in what we want to do. So that's the first one. The second thing is control of money, be it from the road department, be it from the fire department, be it whatever. Back to the PO's purchase order. I'm not saying PO. And but back to the purchase, so that could be a policy and procedure of the way we spend our money. You at home, you got to put a new furnace in. You've got to do something. Where's that money going to come from? You kind of watch your own finances. We, as leading this township, need to watch your funds and manage them better. And then the third thing is go back about the roads. And I think there's a lot of road repairs in this township. It can be done. I've had a knock on doors, and that catch basin out in front of my house here flooded. It's broken. There's a pothole out there in front of my house has been there for years. I know the 1 mile of pavement, 2 mile of pavement, the wide road widening, that kind of thing, we ourselves can afford. We're going to have to look for grants and find people to help us support and pay for that. But there's a lot of things in the roads in this township, probably in front of your own home, that can be fixed with our own help. That we can do ourselves and save money. And I think all those will help us be a better township.
Mrs. Beck, I'll ask you the same question. What are the most important challenges facing Jefferson Township, and how do you propose to address them?
One of the most important for me is the inability for our trustees to work together. They're always at each other. And I won't say always, but many times they're at each other. And it's very hard to see anything get done. So I think that in that, I understand it's important to agree to disagree. So I don't feel like we're professionals and we should be able to sit and present ourselves as professionals. If I don't agree with something, I can agree to disagree. Or I can ask you, okay, well, help me understand what it is that you feel makes that the better choice so that we can kind of get on the same page. But to sit and just say no, just because I don't like you, or because you're going to get the kudos and I'm not, is not acceptable. So for me, I can agree to disagree. And I also understand I have some really good ideas, but I also know other people have good ideas as well. So at the end of the day, what is best for Jefferson Township is what is most important for me. The second thing is our policies and procedures again. We need to get some policies and procedures that are functional, that we can adhere to, because we're just kind of willy-nilly, and you have some people doing it this way, and some people doing it that way. And we don't need to go off the fact that, well, I'm doing it that way because that's how I was told to do it. We need to have something written down so I can go back. If I don't understand it or it doesn't seem right, I can see where it was written and it says this is how you do it, not from somebody else sharing that with me. I think the third thing is our vacant properties. We have houses falling down. I went to a neighbor's house over in the Ridgewood Heights area. She had a tree that had fallen down in the front of her neighbor's house, and the house was splitting. She was a first-time homeowner, and she couldn't get anybody to return her calls. She was afraid that the house would fall on her house on the side where her children slept at. We need to address vacant properties. There is a list out there of properties that are supposed to be torn down. But we need to get that addressed and taken care of. Those are just some of the most important things. There are quite a few other ones, but to me, these are some of the things that when I talk to residents, these are their concerns. There's a resident, or there are people out in the rural area of the township. While we have sidewalks and we might have issue with the street, the rural area, they don't have fire hydrants. We need to get a fire truck. If their house catch fire, we need to be able to put it out and so that they can have a home too.
Thank you, Mrs. Beck. We have a lot of questions from the audience, so I'm gonna go ahead and start putting a limit on your responses. The people have spoken. There are a lot of questions here. So I'll ask this next question, and this is of particular interest to me too, because my husband's stepfather was a volunteer firefighter here in Jefferson Township for a long time. So the question is, how will you fix the failure of the current fire department tanker issue? Mrs. Beck, 2 minutes.
How would I fix the failure of
The current fire department tanker issue?
Well, first of all, we need to make a decision that we're going to, if this issue has been going round and round for a while, and one of the trustees' responsibility was to go in and work with the other trustees. However, I'm not sure where that stands. So it's kind of hard for me to address that question because I'm not currently a trustee. I don't know the current standing of that. So it's a little bit difficult for me to answer that question. But I do know that this issue has been going on a long time. We've already identified the tanker we're looking at. You know, we need to figure out how we're going to pay for it. You know, those are all things that we need to take a look at. But this issue should have been taken care of a while ago. We even at one point in time was going to buy a used truck until we got this new one. And those individuals that need the tanker said, no, don't do that. Just we'll wait until we can get the tanker truck. They need that.
Mr. McLaughlin, how will you fix the failure of the current fire department tanker issue?
Okay, so, failure, not really good with that word being attached to this. It has been a long process. It's been too slow a process. It's been too slow of a process in getting where it is today. So we finally put out a RFP with fire trucks, and we had 2 responses. And we went to both those, set up meetings, and we went and looked at those fire trucks. One was at the manufacturing facility, and one was just a demonstration of a fire truck. So in doing that, we finally did make a decision on whose fire truck to decide on, and that decision has been made. And we almost had it completed, and then the question came up from a fellow trustee. We have 48,000 and some change sitting out there from some money from the government that we haven't used. And if we don't use it by the end of the year, we're going to lose it. So the question is, can we take that money and apply it towards the down payment of this fire truck? And that's where we stand now. Once we get an answer on the legal of that, and this money be applied towards down payment and make our payments smaller, then we'll proceed on. But there's really not a failure. The truck has been picked out. There's just a slight hang up on on getting the payment lower of the full amount. When we take the 48,000 and apply it to the down payment and make our payments a little bit smaller. And then all we do is decide on which finance package. We pick out a truck. I don't see the word failure involved in that. So that's where we stand, and I'm willing to talk about it. You know, I give my phone number out in many meetings. Call me if you have questions. Thank you.
We'll go to the next question. The Jefferson Township community and township employees see the turmoil the township faces because of the bad communication within the administration of the township. How do you propose to improve the working relationship in Jefferson Township? Mrs. Bank.
That kind of goes along with a statement I just made a little while ago. Again, we have to understand we're all of those. We have to agree to disagree. We have to understand that we need to work for what is best for Jefferson Township. Not what's best for one individual or a certain group of people. What is best for our township? That is what we need to focus on. Not so much about personalities, because that's what's happening. Personalities are getting involved, and then we have some individuals who their personality is laid back, so confidently either make a decision, so they kind of go with whoever's making the most noise, you know. And we need to be able to make a decision about what it is that the township needs, and with the turmoil, the backfighting it's just horrible. If you attend our meetings and McLaughlin, Trustee McLaughlin takes those meetings, if you go back and you look at that, you see it yourself, and you would feel so. It's just heartening to see that these are adults that's supposed to be the trusted servants over our community.
Mr. McLaughlin, how do you propose to improve the working relationship in Jefferson Township?
Communication. So at home with your own family, whatever, you have to be able to communicate. And communication is one of the issues. Meeting after meeting after meeting, and you'll see me make that presentation if you want to watch the videos in the meetings, that I get the packet. The packet is a folder of what we're going to talk about. You might have the agenda produced a couple days in advance, but the resolutions, the things that we're making decisions on in this township, you get when the meeting starts. I get it. I'm not allowed to get it in advance because I might go talk to the previous fire chief for the Easter Bunny.
Okay.
You know, so I do not know about the information that we're going to talk about up front. Communication. We've got to be communicating better for this township to go better. We've got to be honest individuals. So you've got to speak with honesty when you lead this township. And don't just say what the people want to hear. You've got to treat people like you want to be treated. I'm going to talk to you with honesty. I'm not going to lie to you. I might be an elected official, but I don't feel I'm called a politician. Because I will be honest. And I've been told many times, Trustee McLaughlin, the only ones that will answer our questions. You can call me anytime, Like, as I said, I work 2 jobs, I'm a very busy person, but I got an answer machine on that phone, I will call you back, and I will talk to you. Communication is one of the biggest problems with that question in the leadership of this township, the problem with it, and the problem amongst us trustees. Time and time again, meeting's about over, it's like pulls out a resolution, hey, well, wow, okay, wow, let me read this. Oh, it's already got a second. How do you get a second? How do we even have time to read it to get a second when I just found out about it? Oh, wow. So, communication.
Mr. McLaughlin, we're going to take our responses down to 90 seconds. We have a lot of questions to get to. I do see the majority of these questions are the same. It's regarding the communication. So everybody has just about the same issues in common. We'll switch to a question. If elected, when will Jefferson Township have a grocery store? Mrs. Back, 90 seconds.
I wish that could be tomorrow. But the reality of that is there's a lot of work, in order to get a grocery store, in Jefferson Township. Currently, the old Red up here, the owner, doesn't look like, he's ready to sell, or the price that he has on that is really high. So that's why it's been sitting there for a long time. But I do believe that we could develop a grocery store, just like Gem City Market. We could invest in doing something like that. But first we need to research and identify, what resources we have available, who would like to move out to our township, and then work from there, because it would be hard. You're not going to get a grocery store tomorrow or next year, and I would not say that, because that's not true, unless somebody just miraculously says that, unless somebody comes in and says that's what they want to do. But I will work hard to try to bring the grocery store in, because we need fresh fruits and vegetables. And we need a location where people can make it to, that don't have a vehicle. So we need to set up ways and means to be able to get them to the store, even if we don't have a grocery store within our community. But we do patron Food Town. Food Town is the closest grocery store that we have.
Thank you, Mrs. Beck. Mr. McLaughlin, when will Jefferson Township have a grocery store?
Same answer. That's a very loaded question. And there again, I'll answer that like I did a previous question, in that I really don't feel that myself, and I'll just speak for myself as a trustee, if I really have the ability to contacts to be able to perform that task myself. And I think one of the most important things to do is you realize that you don't, and know where to look for the help, and try to find developers and find people that make those kinds of decisions and show them what we have to offer in location and population and road traffic, and different aspects that you would approach to a developer to bring the grocery store to this development, to our area. As I said again, we need one very much. I agree with Sheila. It's very well needed. I know my wife hates, going out where she has to go to get groceries. She wants something closer, but I don't think I can do it myself. I think I'm going to need some help from somebody smarter than me in that type of business to bring a developer here to do that. Thank you.
This question is directed.
Can I say something?
Sure, 30 seconds.
At one time, we were working with Miami Valley Regional Planning Committee about how to develop Jefferson Township, and I think we need to get back. I don't know where that dropped, but that dropped, and we need to get back in touch with them to see how they can help us work towards that goal.
Yes.
Thank you. I have a question that is directed specifically for Mr. McLaughlin.
Good deal.
What exactly did you do and why when you discovered Fire Chief Doug Wright had been convicted of theft in office as Union City Fire Chief?
Okay, so let's back up before that. I want to go in front of that just a little bit, in the fact that we had a good operating fire chief And it was brought up at the end of the meeting, another resolution brought out, it's in my back pocket, that we're not going to renew our fire chief's contract. Why? And when that question was asked in many meetings, it got dead air. No answer. Nobody answered the question. Why are you not renewing? He's got an asset management program. The morale's up. You've got the fire department's getting better. We're getting along with other communities. Before, other communities would not come and did not want to give us mutual aid. Things have gotten better across the board. What do you mean you not want to renew his contract? Why? And again, no answer. Meeting after meeting. Finally, it's an HR issue. What? Okay. That didn't make any sense either. But so we did not renew. Of course, I didn't vote to do that. We did not renew. We voted not to renew the existing fire chief's contract. So then we need a fire chief, and we miraculously found one. And I remember asking the trustee over the fire department. We checked him out. Yeah, he's fine. That's as far as it went. I did not physically ask the question, have you invited a background check? Because evidently he was hired without a background check. After I did some investigating. So after the fact, that's all I asked. We did the meeting, we hired him, we had to have one, so we hired him. And then a resident sent me, electronically sent me a newspaper article in regards to what you're saying there. And I brought that up to the two trustees, got nowhere. I feel like I'm on an island by myself, and that it's not right. But let's play on words in it. But without support from another trustee, it continues on.
Thank you, Ms. McLaughlin. Okay, question for Ms. Beck, 90 seconds. Do you think having delinquent property taxes while in office should disqualify a trustee from holding the office, and why?
Well, it depends, because some people have hardships. So, when people have hardships, they might not be able to pay. So you first might need to identify, really what's going on. But if you're continuously, I pay my property tax. And I don't like late fees or delinquent fees, and so I'm going to pay mine. So I don't think that it initially should disqualify someone for that, but if we're expecting the community to pay their property taxes, then we need to pay our property taxes.
Mr. McLaughlin, do you think having delinquent property taxes while in office should disqualify a trustee from holding the office, and why? 90 seconds.
In the short term, no. I kind of agree with that. We all get hard times. I know through the years, there's been a few times I've paid mine late because I forgot. It's kind of like that trash bill. Although if you guys get trash bill, my trash bill shows up in January. It's not due till like June. There's been a couple times I've got to pay it. So now when I get January, it's paid. I'm like Sheila, I don't want late fees. I pay my own property taxes. It's not my house payment. And I want to pay it. I don't want late fees. But the question in that, does it make you disqualify you to be a trustee? I don't believe a high-rise code says that. And I'm not going to, that's what we live by. So I can't really say anything that contradicts what rules we live under.
Thank you. Next question. I was told that Jefferson Township Authority could apply for a grant to have covers at the RTA bus stops. What are your plans to improve the RTA bus stops, Mr. McLaughlin?
Wow, that's nice. I think that's the first I've heard of that. Yeah, so again, let's work together. I'm not sure what organization that's coming from, if that's RTA themselves, if it's federal money or what, but that sounds like a good project. If nobody will stand there in the rain and catch the bus, school kids or whoever. So if that money's available, that would be a great thing to do. Let's work together and get that done. Thank you.
Ms. Beck, what are your plans to improve the RTA bus stops?
I really think that's a good idea. However, we do need to take into consideration, when you bring the bus stop there, you also are bringing in people that need a place to go sit and drink, the homeless, the sleep on the benches. So you're bringing those, so we need to find ways, we need to apply for it, but we need to find ways to prevent that from happening, because if that happens, then you'll scare away the people that need that bench, because they're afraid to go because other people are sitting on there, and I've seen that at a bus stop, that is up out of Liscum in Germantown. And they eventually, I think they took that away because of that very reason. It brought a lot of trash, and it just was not it turned out to not be a good thing. But if we put stipulation or find ways that we can say, okay, we'll have a bus stop here, but we need to ensure that the people that's using that are waiting on the bus.
Next question. What are you going to do about the car speeding in Jefferson Township? This is interesting because the street that I live on, the cars speed up and down the street all the time. And I don't see any speed limit signs. So, Mr. McLaughlin, what are you going to do about the car speeding in Jefferson Township?
Okay, so I live on a state highway and have the same issue, but that's still not a problem. The road you're speaking of, the township roads, the first initiative step would be to get the county sheriff maybe put that little trailer thing with the speed on it, until you slow down. But also, since we need to redo the roads, you see in other places, speed bumps. So we're in a flat, you're in a, where Dana says she lives. Why can't we just do a little, it's nothing more than a curve, a little speed bump in the road and traffic, in the traffic road, slow people down, get their attention. The signage is up, bump ahead, but that will definitely slow them down, and because you don't need to be speeding in the flats when we have the kids. So initially, a sign that maybe the sheriff's department has said, telling you how fast you're going, telling you to slow down. If that doesn't get a handle on it, as we're doing the road repairs, we'll start installing some speed bumps. Thank you.
Ms. Beck, same question. What do you plan to do about the car speeding in Jefferson Township?
And I just want to say that that's all over. I was out passing out flyers, and I had many residents talking to me because they had children, and those children were playing out in the street. So it is a very dangerous situation. Currently, I'm working with the sheriff department on regarding that issue, regarding the fact that we have people they speed from here to the door for no reason. And so we need to put those trailers out that will let you know what your speed is. We need to work with the sheriff department, and we need to find other means. We were actually looking at investing in signage to say, slow down, our kids are playing here. Anything that kind of will alter the fact that they're speeding, because our kids are here. We love them. We don't want them to be here.
Okay. Next question. What is your relationship with Steve Roush? What are your plans for cleaning the lot on the corner of Derby and Germantown? Mrs. Back, what is your relationship with Steve Roush? What are your plans for cleaning the lot on the corner of Derby and Germantown? 90 seconds.
Well, I don't have a relationship with Mr. Roush, but I would work with him if he would allow us to be able to go on his property, and I'm sure he would, to kind of do some neighborhood beautification type thing. We do that, the group that I'm in, we go out and we clean up the community. But I've also contacted Township, the road department, with complaints about the trash that just kind of accumulates right at the edge of there. And so there's also like sand and other things in the middle of there. It almost looks like it's a dump in the making. So I think that we need to at least work with Mr. Roush and see how we can work together to make that area a better place.
Okay, Mr. McLaughlin, what is your relationship with Steve Roush, and what are your plans for cleaning the lot on the corner of Derby and Germantown?
So there again, I don't have a relationship with the man. I've spoken to him a couple times in my life, but I don't know him. But as far as the lot on the corner of Derby and Germantown, he owns that lot. He grows crops there. So that part of it, what there is to clean up. And then there's a an asphalt parking lot back there. There used to be a shopping center there. And there's some sand and grits left over from when they put that on State Route 4 years ago. And it was left over, and I presume Steve just said he'll take it and leave it to sit there. A pile of gravel, I'm not sure, at least in my eyes, coming from Board of Construction, doesn't need cleaned up. Maybe some of you residents will disagree with me on that. I do agree with about the trash on the edge of the road being involved, people got throwing stuff out of the car, that need a little more attention on that. But the field itself, he's got his farmer planting beans and crops in there. And then the parking lot itself has got some gravel left on it. Maybe I need to take another look at it and see if there's something more else to it there that I'm not seeing at this point in time that needs to be addressed. But there again, I've always got an open mind. And if there's something I need to look at there, let's talk about it. Thank you.
I just say, it makes our community look bad.
Okay.
That's what it is. It makes our community look bad coming into our township. And we want a more appeasing look on our community. So that's what that is.
Well, stop and get out, clean up yourself.
This question has to do with Roush as well, and it may be tied into what you all just said, but how will you handle the opening of the Roush compost landfill, Mrs. Bagg? How will you handle the opening of the Roush compost landfill?
I didn't know that there wasn't. I thought that was voted down.
Mr. McLaughlin?
Okay, so a little bit of problem with the wording of the question, landfill. I don't know if it necessarily meets that definition. It is organic composting, and there again, coming from the world of environmental, it is. I mean, because you can take that. His permit allows him to put dead carcasses in there. Think about that, guys. I mean, it is, so I guess maybe you would call that landfill. Landfill, I think of as maybe the C&D, construction and debris, which he owns now and he uses. You have hazardous waste landfills. There's different classes of landfills. So I guess in the verbiage, yes, it is somewhat of a landfill. But as far as how I'll handle opening day, I'm really hoping it never happens. I know we're still in litigation, trying to get this stopped. So we are a country of checks and balances. And so right now, with the checks and balances, it's in the court system. And there'll be a judge that will make a decision on whether or not he can do that. And let's hope he votes in our favor.
Okay, Mr. McLaughlin, I'm going to combine these two questions because they kind of piggyback off each other. Jefferson Township has a bad reputation in regards to working openly with adjoining municipalities. Why do you feel it may be important to work with other municipalities? And the other question is, what are your plans to work with our neighbors, Trotwood and Dayton?
Okay, so yes, that is very important. And we'll go back to the problem that I've talked about before, communication and honesty. You know, your neighbors, we all have them. And you work better with your neighbors if you are honest with them and communicate with them.